What's up, anime world? You know what it is. It's your boy, Biker Twist. So it's another anime review, and you already know what it is. What we're gonna be talking about today, we talking about God of High School. Now, I couldn't wait to talk about this shit because I mean, these motherfuckers definitely be getting the blookers be going on in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna be talking about God of High School. You know what I'm saying? So the intro on this motherfucker was fire. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely one of the bangers. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with the intro on this one. You feel what I'm saying? And if you like a person who like you watch intros and shit like that, you'll fuck with the intro and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Music and animation blends perfectly well. I really fuck with how the animation and shit like that, how it blends with the music, and it pretty much it sets each other up. It's like you going into a club and shit like that. You got the whole club scene and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the beat drops in that motherfucker. So you know what I'm saying? So when the intro or whatever is going on and stuff like that, the beat drop, and you definitely gonna fuck with that as well. So like I said, the intro on this motherfucker is definitely one of the bangers and shit like that, because like the intro, the animation, the music, all that shit clash together and it makes a good little intro. You know what I'm saying? And Crunchyroll was the ones who pretty much put this shit together. So they did a good job. I fuck with it, you know. The music and shit like that is up tempo. You know what I'm saying? It definitely feel like you getting ready for a fight. Makes me feel like I'm getting ready for a fight. Like I'm about to put on the gloves and get ready and go up there and fight Mayweather and shit like that. Well, I ain't gonna fight Mayweather, you know, because I ain't no boxer. You know, if he came at me, we could definitely get it in. You know what I'm saying? But I fuck with him, you know what I'm saying? So moving on, the intro on this motherfucker gets a 5 out of 5 with 3 flames, because like I said, I fuck with it. I never skipped the intro on this one. I really fucked with it. And if you the person who watch intros and shit like that, I feel like you'll fuck with it too. So moving on, you feel me? So the plot on this, so there's some holes and shit like that or whatever, like in the plot. It's very simple, but there's some holes in it, like, so you like, once you get to the end of it, you definitely have like more questions than answers and shit like that. But you know, it's just like it's the first season, so maybe we'll get more of the answers and shit like that in the second season. But there's definitely like some things like that leave some holes and some questions or whatever, like cause pretty much like there's not enough explanation and stuff like that. Like on this shit, man, it's just straight boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like every episode, motherfuckers, you know, we gonna get in this bitch and we gonna throw hands. Like pretty much that's what it is. You feel me? So that's kind of, I mean, it don't really take away, because I mean, it's one of the anime that I really fuck with myself, you feel me? But like I say, it's not enough like explanation for some people, and it's just a lot of boxing. The plot gets like an average score, you know what I'm saying? So the plot gets a 3 out of 5 because like it's simple, and like I said, there's some holes in this motherfucker. But it ain't too bad, it's just average, you feel what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's some average shit, and like maybe some things that get cleared up and stuff like that. Like people who read the manga and shit, like they say like there's a whole bunch of information on this that's not in the anime. I haven't read the manga on this one, so I really don't know. I'll go back and read the shit or whatever, but as it stands right now, I really don't know. So as I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. This motherfucker here, you know what I'm saying, got fights, more fights on top of fights. You want some more fights? We got some fights for that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got fights in the back, we got fights in the warehouse, we got fights all over this bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, like, every episode is definitely a fight in this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So, but because of that, you know what I'm saying, like, you get a whole lot of meat, and the fight being the meat, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get a lot of other shit on the hamburger, you know what I'm saying? You don't get the potato, you don't get the fucking lettuce, you don't get the tomatoes, you don't get the bacon, you don't get the jalapenos, you don't get none of that shit, you don't get the fucking cheese, none of that shit, you know what I'm saying? So you just got fucking bread and you got meat. So you're missing some of that in-between shit and stuff like that. So, you know, like that's something that people really appreciate, you know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate that shit too, but I ain't really tripping on it too much, you know what I'm saying? Because I really fucked with the anime for what it was. But people who read the manga and shit like that say there's a lot of stuff that's being left out, you know what I'm saying? But you kind of feel that, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, you know, like I told you before, the plot had holes and shit like that. So you kind of feel some of that missing shit. I love the way their powers and shit like that connect to each character and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because like each powers and stuff like that is like individualized for the most part, you know, because you can use like different gods, different demons, different deities, warriors from different eras and shit like that. So I love that because you get to see diversity and you get to see different cultures and shit like that represented you know, into the anime, and to me, I fuck with that real hard as a motherfucker. I give the miscellaneous a good 4 out of 5, you feel me? So the animation and the sound effects on this motherfucker, so the animation was dope as it is, you know what I'm saying? Because the fight directions was fucking amazing. The sequences was amazing. You know, the path of the fights were amazing. I fucked with it, you know what I'm saying? And the music was dope. I fucked with the music super hard on this motherfucker during the fights. Now they had a few fights where the music was cheesy, you know, like I said, a few, like maybe like 1 or 2 where it was kind of cheesy, but for the most part I fucked with it, especially like when, you know, I ain't gonna tell you, y'all can go see that shit, you know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, like the music at the fights, definitely something that meshed well. I like the fact that you can actually see the fights, like you see the movements and shit like that, because you have some fights where it's like, you know, where like in Dragon Ball Z, like, oh, they moving so fast, you can't really see what's going on and shit like that. You just see like, twish, 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 twish. You actually see like hand movements and all of that shit going on in this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I fucked with it because of that reason. You get the animation and the sound effects a good 5 out of 5 with 2 flames. And why 2 flames and not 3? Because though the sound effects was good, it wasn't like, to me, it wasn't like bone shattering and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like on some Fire Force shit and stuff like that. So to me, it was good, but it just wasn't, you know, like over the top to me, even though I fucked with the music. So, the characters on this motherfucker, the characters on here was pretty dope, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna start off with Mira, you know what I'm saying? She's a female, she fights with a weapon and shit like that, you know, right off the bat. She pretty much started like with a wooden sword that she like inherited and shit like that, that's passed down from the family, because like, that's a family treasure and shit like that. And I think it's called like the Moonlight sword style and shit like that she fights with. She holds her own. You feel me? And she definitely brings it. She brings the fucking heat with that motherfucking sword. Like, she be banging niggas up. And like this girl here, she ain't with like that soft shit and stuff like that. Cause she a big chick. I mean, like, no, well, she not a big chick. What I mean by she a big chick, she ain't just let you come through and walk all over her. Like, she's the one in the group that has the most logic and shit. And she's like, not like the leader, but she has the most logic and she thinks things through. And she's able to, you know, sense what's going on with people on an emotional level. Not saying because she's a woman, don't hate me, don't shoot the messenger. Hey, I'm just a nigga that's just interpreting the shit, you feel me? But I'm just telling you, she seems to, you know, interpret it like emotional values and emotional shit better, you feel me? So she's like one of the 3 protagonists, you know what I'm saying, on the show. But she holds her own. Then you got Daewi. Daewi come on this bitch and he's fighting these straight hands. Like, he ain't got no weapons, none of that shit, like straight boxing. And he ain't even gotta talk to you and none of that shit. He ain't here to make no friends, he ain't here to associate with nobody. He here to just straight give you these blippers. So Daewi, you know, he's the only one to me that I feel like he has like a super legit purpose. Not saying that everybody else don't have like a goal and shit like that, but to me his goal was like the most admirable to me. You know, to each his own, but like I said, to me his goal was the most admirable. But pretty much like Mira and Jin, they pretty much, you know, like melt the ice around dude and shit like that. So he's part of the pack and shit. So you got the 3 little pigs and shit. And you know, every good anime comes in 3s. You know, they have a good like a good little trio and shit. So he's the one in the group, and he's like stubborn and stuff like that. But you know, he's tough, man. I mean, like when I see this dude, I think of like Rocky and shit like that. I mean, he's tough. I mean, he's definitely fucking tough. Like, I can't stress that enough. Dude's tough. You feel me? But he comes with it. He brings that heat to it. And now we got Jin. Jin motherfucking Mori, you feel me? Like, Jin, straight off the bat, like, he's a person that anybody would fuck with if you watch anime shit. I wish I could be like that, just free spirited, do whatever the fuck I want to do. Even though my wife said I do whatever the fuck I want to do, I wish I could do whatever I really wanted to do, because this dude, Jin, do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So Grandpa pretty much told dude, like, hey, do whatever you want to do, nigga. And pretty much dude got that shit in his head, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he pretty much got that in his head, like, throughout all of life and throughout everything that he do. So he don't give a fuck about no rules, he don't give a fuck about shit, he don't give a fuck about who you are, he don't give a fuck about what you are, he don't give a fuck about, like, none of that shit. Even his friends and shit like that, like, he fight them too. But it ain't like he just on some bully shit, like, I'm gonna go around beating everybody up, nigga. Like, who the fuck you all, bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't on no bully shit and stuff like that. You know, that's just how, like, you know how they say everybody have their different love language and shit like that? Well, this is his language. Like, he speak through his fists and through his feet. Like, and I love the way dude fight. Like, I fuck with jinmori hard as a motherfucker, and I'm telling you, you will too. And you knew right off the bat that he was gonna be like the main protagonist and shit like that. But it ain't even matter. Like, I fucked with him right off the bat. So jinmori is one of my dudes and shit like that. So the characters, each character got their own goals, and I love how each character is goal oriented in their own fucking way. So the characters on this get a good 5 out of 5. And no flames and shit like that, you know, but definitely a 5 out of 5, you feel me? And the heartstrings, you thought I forgot about the heartstrings, but I didn't forget about the heartstrings. You forgot about the heartstrings. The heartstrings on this motherfucker. So for a fighting show and stuff like that, it's actually gonna surprise you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, cause they definitely got some stuff on here and like moments and stuff that's gonna happen that's definitely gonna have you on the edge of your seat and shit like that. And the fact that the music and shit like that during the fights give you goosebumps and shit, I mean, that gotta count for heartstrings and shit too. You already know what it is, so that definitely gives it a good little bump up, you feel me? So the heartstrings on this, like I said, it's definitely going to surprise you, because there's going to be some moments with the characters that you might connect with, you know what I'm saying? Because you know how the anime is good for connecting, like, you like, man, my life kind of going like that right now and shit like that. But you know what it is, baby. Like, so on the heartstrings, you feel what I'm saying? Like I said, it ain't over the top, but it's definitely going to surprise you. You feel what I'm saying? So it gets a good 4 out of 5. You feel me? So this anime is one of the things that you niggas need to go and see, because this is one of the things that was one of the better anime of last season, because I voted for this fight for one of the better fights. I mean, one of the better fights in anime during the anime awards and shit like that. You know, I had to go through and vote it twice because it was a tough choice. You know what I'm saying? So one day I voted for one thing, then the next day I voted for the next thing. You feel me? But you go through and you're gonna see this motherfucker got some dope ass fights in this shit. So go through, watch this shit. Overall, this anime get a good 26 out of 30 with 5 flames. So that ain't too bad. That's 4 off from a perfect numerical score. You feel me? So go fuck with this shit if you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't getting enough hype and all that shit, but it's definitely something I think everybody need to go and check out. Fucks with your boy. I'm out.